Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sunday. Let's talk about the watch list for this week. If you guys watched my QQQ video, my stock market crash video, I told you guys in that video to keep an eye on the market. Be very careful. Look at this sideways action here. Let's zoom in on the weekly chart. What do you see, guys? Do you see the pattern? Do you see this huge run up? We eventually pull back for a couple months. Huge run up, pull back for a couple months? Question mark. That is the question mark. We don't know yet. We don't know, but this would be my prediction if we get a repeat of the pattern that has been playing ever since we stopped, um, ever since we turned bullish, because we were in a huge bear market back here. But now it's the reverse. But we still are going to have pullbacks even in an uptrend. And keep in mind, this is the weekly chart, so it can take weeks for this to play out. With that out of the way, let's take a look at all of our stocks that might be a good buy opportunity here, but be very careful because, again, we could enter a temporary 3 to 4 month bear market, downtrend, whatever you want to call it. You'll notice a lot of these stocks on my watch list are near bottoms. A lot of them are nearing bottoms. Look at this bottom here. Ooh, that is one hell of a bottom on Riot. And that goes for Mora as well. Horizontal support, it's right there at horizontal support. Soundhound, it's right at support as well. You notice the pattern? It looks like it's almost like we're waiting for something to happen. It's almost like stocks they don't know where to go. And buyers need to step in. Here, BitF, same thing. Same exact thing. You're starting to see this pattern across the market on a lot of stocks. You're seeing a lot of stocks right at support. Tesla was right at support. It did bounce because of the robo-taxi news. Maybe tomorrow we get a little bit more of a run up. But either way, you're seeing this pattern. Even DJT coming down to support as well. I could go on and on. There are very few stocks who aren't uh, at their support level. And what that means is we're at a key point in the market where either we bounce or we're going to see a lot of bottoms, a lot of floors. We're going to see a lot of floors on a lot of these stocks break. And what happens when the floor breaks? Well, you fall down that hole and it just, who knows how low it's going to go at that point. Maybe we see Riot down at $4, $3. Holy crap, it was that cheap back then. Okay, so a bear market is scary, but if you're smart and experienced like we are now, especially if you've been with me since the start of this channel, we know that a bear market is just an opportunity to add nice and cheap. That's all it is on stocks that have shown strength in the uptrend, in the reversal. Because when we did reverse here on Riot, look, it went from a low of 3 to a high of 20. And then it just went sideways there for a long time. But that's just how it is. We're going in cycles. If this doesn't hold, then there's no reason to buy right here, right now. Same thing with Mora. No reason to buy here and now unless we get a bounce across the market. If we go into a bear market, I mean, we're going to see Mora down here at under $10 very quickly and very easily. And again, that's an opportunity. So don't be afraid. It's just, I want you to be safe and not buy stocks when they're all the way up here. We want to buy them all the way down here. If we go into a bear market, if we don't go into a bear market and this was just a temporary little scare and we actually bounce next week, because next week we better have a nice green week. Let's switch to the weekly chart. We better have a nice green week on QQQ, or it looks like we're headed into a downtrend. Nvidia is usually the one that leads the market. Semiconductors lead the market, and you'll notice Nvidia stopped creating it stopped creating highs. I mean, it was creating new highs since the beginning of 2024. It just kept going higher and higher. It just kept going. I remember at 350 telling people like you should buy Nvidia here at 400, 450, guys. It's real cheap down here. Went up as high as 900 and what? Let's see, 977 here on the weekly at least. But we've had our first 2 red weeks. If we get a third red week, it's not going to look very good. And I that's it. That is your warning. That is your warning. All right. That's I'm warning you right now. Like, hey, that's just how the market likes to move. Likes to go up and down. We might be nearing the part where we go down. Significant down. Not just a little bit down, just significant enough that it's time to sit back and let it come down. And then buy it nice and cheap. I'm just adding all these Emmas just to see what's going on there. But so Riot, Monday, if we get a bounce, that's a buy. I'll be looking to buy it around $10, 10.50, and then just hold it for a swing. Mara, same thing, right at support. Let's switch to the daily. It needs to bounce here around 17, $18. And again, if we bounce next week, then that's a buy as well at around 18 to 19, because that one's a lot more volatile than Riot. Samo, I have my eyes on this penny stock mainly because of the trend that it's in. I've been talking about this trend for a while. You want to buy the dip in this uptrend. It's slowly climbing higher over the long term. Ideally, you want to buy the dip at the trend line, which is you can see the dips keep being bought. Um, but that's only if you want to ride the trend. Who knows? This thing could continue going until 4 cents, 5 cents, etc. So a good opportunity would be to buy at the bottom trend line support. I'm just giving you the ideas, guys. I know some of you don't like penny stocks, so if you don't like penny stocks, you don't have to touch Samo. You can stick to the good old, Soundhounds and Riots and Maras and BitFs. Soundhound, again, critical point in the market, critical point for this stock. It has to hold this floor. If it doesn't hold this floor, we're just gonna fall right through. I got stopped out. I bought in on this green candle, and yeah, I got stopped out when it came back down, unfortunately. It could not break out and go higher and break out of this descending triangle. So I'm not touching it until I see this break out of this uh, descending triangle. I need to see it break out of this descending triangle, or else it's just primed for more downside. BKKT, a very obvious pattern here. Anyone I mean, you could be blind, and it's so obvious that this thing I remember in the Discord, people were telling me, "Is this a buy?" People were asking me, "Is this a buy? Is this a buy?" I remember telling people a long time ago, "Hey, this is a buy if it comes back to $1." Because look at these run-ups; it would go as far as 280. Here it ran up to 182 for a nice 82% run. Here it ran up to 232. Here it came down as low as 64 and made a huge run to 2.74. And when it came down here nice and cheap to 83 cents, I remember telling people, "Do not buy." Do not buy. This is a trap. Do not buy it. And lo and behold, we've just been dumping. And you see the pattern there. Forms a bear flag or wedge. It goes lower. Does the same thing, goes lower. Does the same thing, goes lower. Until that changes, we would expect the exact same thing. You know, it's just going to go lower. That's what we would anticipate. So that's your update for BKKT because some people kept asking about that. Those who bought thinking this was going to bounce another 300%, they're holding it back now unless they took the L. I did not buy. I recognized immediately like nope, that is not a buy. Not with all those offerings incoming. BitF, another Bitcoin miner, a cheaper one. This one's at around $2. It has to hold 190. Yeah, it has to hold 190. If it can hold that, we're good. If not, we have to take the DL because I did buy in already. We don't want to be a part of a bear market and hold a bag as this thing comes back down to possibly $1, maybe even as low as 40 cents. Look at this bear market here. Oh boy, did it go nice and cheap to 40 cents. But those people that bought in and that believed, well, I'm sure they were very happy with their 300 to 400% gains. That's just the nature of a bear market. Just huge opportunity. Tesla. I made a video on Tesla. Be ready to buy calls if we get a bounce on Monday, especially with the robotaxi Elon Musk tweet. Usually, when Elon Musk says something, it can send things moving, especially for Tesla. Uh, DJT. I don't know much about this one, but someone wanted me to look at it. All I can say is looks like our next support is going to be at 38. Our next support, horizontal support, yeah, it's going to be at 38. So we got this here and this here. Like we should see a lot of buyers around this level, around 38. Yeah, or under $38, we should be seeing a lot of buyers step in because they've done so every single time. Even here, to like, I could let me just point an arrow. Buyer stepped in big here, buyer stepped in big here, buyer stepped in big here. Big red candle. Guess what? Buyers stepped in and pushed it up. Uh, yeah. So we would expect this floor to hold. You would not want to jump. Yeah, you would not want to jump on a floor that has a history of not holding up because you're gonna fall right through. Right. I think that's gonna be my new analogy. You want to jump on a floor that you know, hey, has a history of holding. Do you like jumping into elevators that have a history of falling? Probably not. You probably like the safety aspect of an elevator that has a history of holding. So in this case, we don't want to ride elevators down. We want to buy the dip as low as possible. In this case, around 35 to 38. That is your range because of how volatile that is. All right, guys, that is it for the stock market watch list. I have not made one of these in a while. Hopefully, you like and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one.